Agud Voch Raboisai. Leiluy nishmat Miriam. Welcome to all the guests. Shalom Aleichem. You. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? You were here before?
Yes.
How many times?
In Merkaz, one time.
Oh, okay. It's not so bad. It's not. Shalom Aleichem. Who else? Guest? Anybody? Who? Oh, Shalom Aleichem. What's your name?
Barry Brenner.
Brenner. Shalom Aleichem. From?
Detroit.
You live here. All right. Welcome. Who else? They were Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? From?
Hanan's father.
Whose?
Hanan.
Hanan's father. Welcome. Shalom Aleichem. Okay. So, welcome to all the guests. Voch. Who you show? I can't see him. There's another one over there. Shalom Aleichem. Why are you sitting all the way back there? Here, there's a seat right over here. Whoever wants. Right here. What's your name, Tzaddik? Refuah Shlema from? Manchester. I don't think there's another Manchester in the world. Believe me, there's only one. Okay. It doesn't count. Manchester, England. Zachary Goldglance, $18. Nisano Feller, $30. Rabbi say they're stepping it up. The Olam is stepping it up. Check this out. Howard Sickles, $36. Samuel Cha Veffer, whatever that is, Chaim Veffer, $30. Dave Sharfman, $36. Yishkoyach Dave. Not only all those hours, he also gives money. Rivka Klugman, $15. Yaakov Siegel, $18. Mike Greenwald, $18. Joseph Verdugo, $360. No. That's it. I did the 300 the other day, but it was on one day. Yamin Schwartz, $180. Yaakov Sinner, $180. What's going on? Why are they laughing? Chaim Lichter, $30. Tzvi Jacobs, $360. I got lucky. These 360 showed up today. Sandra Feinberg, maybe it's David's, who knows? Sandra Feinberg, $15. Harry Shalom, $180. Jacob Baum, $18. Shlomi Klein, $26. Andrew Klepner, $18. Chaya Novak, $18. Sergey Flaster, $26. Eli Stefansky, $300. I made it to the list. Yeah. I'm also part of the staff. Donnie Sonnen, $36. Nosson Tillim, whatever that, Nosson Tillim, $15. Avram Gatzman, $18. Michal Valen, $18. Michal Wolf, $18. David Clyde, $18. Mark Annis, $18. And we said that one already. All right. Rabbi said tonight, check this out. 18,000 subscribers on YouTube. 154,000 views. 32.9 thousand hours of torah.
That's in the last 28 days.
In the last 28 days. It's just a couple of years ago. That's when I met Mayor Planka. In the farm store, I was like, we need to get to 1,000 subscribers because they knocked us off YouTube for the live. So that was just a couple of years ago. We're looking for 1,000. Here we are, 18,000. Chai, unbelievable. Well, by the way, we don't want to say this live on YouTube, but we try to push people to all Daf and Torah anytime and Kol HaLashon and Portal Daf Yomi. WhatsApp. How many? We have thousands. How many thousands on WhatsApp? What is it? More than 5, 6, 7? Much more. Okay. What? Torah Zoom. We have like 500 views on Torah Zoom. Jacob Friedman. Wow, I just finished the parak. Thank you so much. I'm a chussid. I never understood the thing about chudash. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. I love the way you teach. I can't get enough of it. So if there's one bracha, I love these brachas. I mean, he's not trying to insult me or anything. He wants to give me a bracha. I could give you. You should never hurt another Jew and have a Gemar Chasima Taiva. I'll take it as a bracha be'emes. I need that bracha. I do need it because it's easy for me to hurt other people. and I need to ask the other one. You know what? If I forget, Chas v'shalom, if I forget tomorrow, let me ask the Olam today, Mechila. Unfortunately, I sit here, I have a very loose mouth, and sometimes I insult people, and that's one reason I should stop giving this year. Where's Avi? No, I ask him Mechila every week, once a week.
By the way, Eli, we're over 5 million views on YouTube.
Over 5 million views on YouTube. Wow. Maybe it should translate it. We should start, what is it called? Start making monetizing. No, Chas v'shalom, never. Dear Reb Eli Shlita, we saw a Gemara about Talmid Chacham that has dirt on his clothes that he's called the Masniye Hashem. That people see him and think how this person is disgusting. So I got a few emails saying that I was right. The Chil Hashem is only in an Aveira when you do an Aveira. Now, if picking your nose is an Aveira, then it's a Chil Hashem. So you have to decide if it's an Aveira or not. So he says, we learned, it's taki true, we learned that if a Talmid Chacham has a Revav al Bigdoi, it's Masniye Hashem, you're making people hate Yiddishkeit. So discussing not representative of Hashem. So I think it depends on what he does. Picking his nose can be disgusting, but doing things which do not discuss, just a bit weird, then I agree with you. And to the whole shir, Ariel Tov, Shkoyach. Okay, so anyways, it just depends if it's an Aveira, if it's going to cause other people to do Aveiras, if it's something that makes Jews look in a certain... Okay, fine. What? Okay, it could be, but it's not Chil Hashem. That's what I'm saying. There's a difference between an Aveira and Chil Hashem. You have to see what the... All right. By Chaim Hirsch, not a kiss, but a beer hug from Hashem, Hi Rebelli. That was the subject. Just a reminder for who I am. Closing a picture of myself. Bekitzer, what happened was, he sent me a whole long email that he had another son, Mazel Tov, and that the name that he named is Punkt exactly. He's a big Rishon by Chois, teaches the whole thing. But the bottom line is Mazel Tov. We're back in January, MDY Hegar, regards to my good longtime friend Hillel Kamiansky. Not here tonight. All right, so here we go, Rabbi Isai. We have a lot to make up today, and I want to do some of the Yedias Hashas also. So the Masechta, sponsored by Lakewood and Lebovic families, living in Jerusalem because torah and achdus are the best segula. Paras HaChodesh, Rochel bas Leba for Refuah Shlema b'Korev Amen. Paras HaChodesh, nishmat Chaya bas Yosef. Paras HaChodesh, as a zchut, that our family should be blessed with health, nachas and simcha until 120. Paras HaChodesh, Hatzlocha l'zchut Yosef Meir ben Rochel. Paras HaChodesh, Elan Chaim Golan, Leiluy nishmat Batsheva Chaya bat Miriam. Paras HaChodesh, nishmat Zechariah ben Moshe. Paras HaYom, Benjamin and Dr. Dan Kaufman, nishmat Simcha ben Yerachmiel, our father Sidney Kaufman, all of us Shalom. Paras HaYom, in honor of my birthday, Nusim ben Shoshana. Thank you Hashem for the past 21 years, a 21-year-old. Wow. All right. So Nusin should give us all brachas, especially me. I need it. Art of the month. Somebody was worried that I said like on the 8-minute daf, I said, please daven for me, or Roshana. He thought like Chas v'shalom. No, I'm just asking, have me in mind. Why not? I had a lot of people in mind this Roshana, more than ever. Said names, mefurish. Why not? It doesn't hurt. Art of the month. Yosef ben Chaya Sarah for all the schusim that come from supporting Leba Torah. Rabbi Isai, so we learned about Shtar Mukdam, just in passing. It's if you write the wrong date in a shtar and you use it later on, it could be very, it's a big problem. Gilgal Shvuah is if you have somebody make a Shvuah on one thing, and you want him to make a Shvuah on something else, which typically he's not chayiv, let's say on karka, he's not chayiv a Shvuah, so once he's making a Shvuah on metaltal, you make him make also on karka. We mentioned your name, Reb Hillel. You cannot learn Mamanis from Isurim. You guys remember what that is? You cannot do Chalipin with money. It has to be like a cloth, it has to be something else, but not money. Safek Deraisa L'Chumra, we don't have to explain what that is. Well, we'll explain because I don't want any emails. If you have a Safek in something that's in the Torah, Safek, if this is whatever, Chayla, whatever, you go to Chumra. But if you have a Safek in Issa D'Rabbanan, we go Likula, Cholav Stam, yeah. This I decided to throw it in. It's not a Yisod in Shas, but I thought it was very important. Although my Chavrusa argued with me, he says I didn't learn the right Pshat in Rashi. So it's also good to see it. In case I'm right, it's a good Yisod. HaKoifa Yitzroi, Rashi says there's no greater mitzvah than that. So he says when you learn a lot of Rashis in Shas, you'll see he uses this lashon, ain't this, more than that. It just means it's up there. Doesn't mean it's the greatest. Okay. Upon Rashi Daf Yomi Beis says that if a person is faced with an Aveira and he controls himself, it's the greatest thing. Does he mean the greatest? It's a great thing, whatever. But it's up there. Rabbi Isai, we have to finish Daf Amud Beis. We're starting a brand new perek. All Geshmaka stuff. And now, as I was saying, the donors, this guy gave $300, $360, $180, $15 even. Maybe some of you were sitting and thinking to yourself, oh, after share I'm going to go on and put myself in Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? I met you once before? Every other day. Okay? It's mamish like the, chas v'shalom, I don't want to even say. Okay. So, not saying. I forgot what it is. I can't say it. Okay. So, if you guys were thinking to yourself, okay, after share, I want to go online to mdymonthly.com and put it in, is that mechayiv you? Let's say you decide not to do it. You had a machshava to give tzedakah now. It's a nice thing. I want Reb Eli to announce me tomorrow morning b'Ravim. And then you forget about it. You chayiv and achayiv. Reb Boy said you just had a machshava to donate money b'machshava. You chayiv. What? Gemir das in your mind. You didn't say it. You didn't utter a word. You say you'd be chayiv. Okay, it's not 100%. All right. So says the Heilige Mishnah. Kol sheyeshnu b'mikro. Wow, I didn't say this to Reb Elyashiv yesterday. Okay, it's a good one. Kol sheyeshnu b'mikro. If a person has chamisha chumshi torah, we're starting a new year soon, and there are many that joined the chiyuv of Shnai Mikra V'Echad Targum, and you could also get a free chumash if you go to whatever that WhatsApp group is. Yosef, now you know what it is. Kol sheyeshnu b'mikra ube mishnah, and he has mishnah, mishnayis, gemara, ube derech eretz. He also has good midas, derech eretz, lebi mehera huchayta. Some say derech eretz. It could be there's another pshat in derech eretz. He works, he does that sort of thing. But we know derech eretz as a different pshat, as good midas. Lebi mehera huchayta. He works on himself because everybody has nitiyos and different struggles. Some people make fun of other people. Some people, everybody has their struggle in midas. So you work on yourself to be better. When I learned this Gemara, I don't want to say, oh, why didn't you mention me? The first person that came to my mind, you're going to be shocked. Donnie Fine. Why? Because he comes to them Sidron, he learns Chumash all the time, and he's like an edel guy. Plus he works hard. So in two pshatim. Don't. And not to put anybody else down. I know everybody else does Steinberg. Just I don't know why. It came to my head. Who's Donnie Fine? Donnie Fine comes every day. What do you mean? He's there, the one with the red shirt.
Who came up to mind the second one?
Huh?
Who came up to mind in the second one?
You. No. There's only one. What's the difference? What came up in my mind? Everybody come in their own mind. Everybody does the daf here. Everybody's learning Mishnah. I just see Donnie all the time during the emails. He does Shnei Mikra. That's why he comes to me. It's not such midas, but whatever. He is about midas. When you have the three, so you're not gonna sin so quickly. If you don't have these three, you don't belong in society. What are they compared to tzaddikim? So actually, Yoshi did this for the other day. It's a complicated drawing. I asked him for a certain thing, but he came up with his, not really, but basically, you have the Gehenim on that side, whatever you consider Gehenim, and Olam Haba, learning Torah on that side. And basically, when a person does Averis, and he has a little bit, everybody has a little bit in the left, and Hakadosh Baruch Hu comes with his Yisurim, he sprinkles us with inconveniences in our life and things that are difficult. And basically that's to detach the branches that go over the tumah, the things that are, to get rid of the tumah and to keep you whole and in one piece on the right side in Olam Haba. So, you're completely tar. But you have a branch, you have part of you is in the wrong place. Shouldn't be there. So when Akash Baruch Hu, or when you detach that branch, then you're 100% completely in tar. Maybe Yisur Mal Tzadikim Ba'olam Hazeh. I love it's mamish. It's so nageh to Yom Kippur and everything else that we're doing these days. Maybe Yisur Mal Tzadikim Ba'olam Hazeh. We always question, why me? Why this? Why did this happen to me? Hu brings Yisurim on Tzadikim Ba'olam Hazeh because he wants him to be completely in the Tahara group on the right. Shelemah v'hoyrei shischa mitzor b'achrischa yizgemoid. The beginning mitzor b'achrischa yizgemoid. Afterwards yizgemoid. V'lama Rishayim doim b'olam hazeh. And Rishayim that receive award in this world, what are they similar to? Lilon shekulayim b'makim tuma. He's a shtik tuma. He's a rasha. But he has a little bit of good. He gives a little tzedakah. He does this, that. Niktas noifa. Yisakash Baruch comes and chops off that branch that's in the tahara. Then he becomes one piece of tumah. He gives him a little bit of award in this world. To put them down into the lowest levels. The end will be the ways of death. In other words, they shouldn't be zoichet olam haba. Talk about this all the time, and this is what I was saying the other day, that we should, hopefully we'll get to this sugi, but we didn't. To explain, why do we learn Torah all the time? Reb Tarfon and the other Skenim were sitting in the attic in Lloyd. This came up. Talmud Gadol or Maisa Gadol? What's better, to learn Torah or to keep the mitzvahs in the Torah? What's more important, to wear tefillin or to learn a daf Gemara? To shake a lulav or to learn a daf Gemara? Not a Reb Tarfon v'Omar Maisa Gadol. To do the mitzvah is greater than learning Torah. Not a Reb Akiva v'Omar Talmud Gadol. No, to learn the Torah. So you think to yourself, so why are we learning Torah? The whole point of the Torah is the mitzvahs. No, says Reb Akiva, Talmud Gadol. This is HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Torah. Kaviyachal, you go into his mind to see Kaviyachal, an idea of how he thinks. And he says we should learn Torah, and it's to bring us to mitzvahs. But you need to learn Torah first. Nanu kulam varmu, Talmud Gadol, Shat Talmud Mevi Lidei Maisa. They all came to conclusion that at the end of the day, learning Torah brings to action. And therefore, when you learn Torah, you makayim both. You know how to take the action, and you're also learning Torah. It comes out at the end of the day that if you go even with the second pshat in Taisvus and the Pnei Yeshua, that first you have to learn. You have to know what to do. And most of us, almost all of us, and probably all of us, don't know the halachas. We don't know what to do. We don't know the thing. You can't say, oh, I already learned, so maybe I should do Maisa today. Where we are now, so the first thing is to learn. In order, when you learn and you know Hilchos Beirer, and you know not to be Mechal Shabbos. How? Because the Chaim says, if you don't learn Hilchos Beirer, you're going to be Mechal Shabbos every single week. So when you know all the halachas, you know all the things, you know what an esrog is supposed to look like, and how to take an esrog, and then this, what kavanah, then you do the esrog. But the first thing is you have to learn. You have to go through all of Shas. There's an interesting Taisus Riazakin I saw here. I just thought I would share with you. He brings Rosh Yerushalmi. He's like 20 lines from the bottom. Reb Voch shalach lebrei. Reb Voch sent his son the Migmar b'Tveria to learn Torah in Tveria. Shalchulei. So they sent back to the father Reb Voch. V'amrulei goymel chesedu. Your son is a gevaldik goymel chesed. He does a lot of gemilas chesed. He's an atzala. Koloymar meniach terasa lasis levaya. In other words, what he was doing, he was leaving yeshiva and he's burying people. Kol ha-mesim. Shalach lei. So he sent him. Hamabli in kfar b'kisari. There's no base of kfars in Kisaria. Shlachticha b'Tveria. I have to send you all the way to Tveria to bury. I send you to learn Torah. Let somebody else do the chesed. Let somebody else deal with the mitzvah. Okay. Zog the Gemara Tanya, Reb Yosi Omer. Gadol Talmud shekadem l'chal arba'im shana. The Torah was given 40 years before Klal Yisrael came into it. We said when Klal Yisrael went to Yisrael, but v'yachem, then you chayav v'chal. It's 40 years. Torah is 40 years before chal. L'trumas l'maisris chamishim v'arba. We already learned that also. When did they start trumas l'maisris? 14 years after kibush, after the kibush and nachla, right? So they Yerusha, kibush and Yerusha. So that's another 14 years. 14 on top of the 40, that's 54. Ulshmitim shishim achas. Now you have to wait 7 years on top of that, so you get to 61. Liyoivlois me'eveshalosh. So now you have the 54 plus 50 is 104. But the Gemara says Yoivlois me'eveshalosh. It says Gemara me'eveshalosh me'evarba havion. We say that Yovel is the beginning of the year. So it's really at year 103, that's when they started doing Yovel. In other words, that's when the slaves went out and that's when everything happened. Just like we already established that learning Torah comes before doing a mitzvah. When a person goes up to Shemayim, then they're going to talk to him first. When they go to Din, they're going to ask him about his Torah. That's the first thing they're going to say. Did you learn Torah? So when you do tshuva, you have to do tshuva on Torah. It's unbelievable. No, we're talking about Erev Yom Kippur. Erev Yom Kippur. What's the din? Din. What's that? What is HaKadosh Baruch Hu being done immediately? The first thing, Torah. How much did you learn this year? When a person is nifter, why didn't you learn? Why didn't you learn more? What's your excuse? That's the first din. Shelemah poiter mayim reishis modeh. So Taisus asks the obvious question here, because the first thing that happens when you go up there, they ask you, nosata v'nosata be'emunah. How's your business? All right. So he goes into it. But the din, maybe the first question they ask you is about business. But when they are being done, when they're in front of the judges, the system, whatever, Averis, the mitzvahs, the din, that's about Torah, he says. Okay.
I think the Gra answers all those questions about learning the Torah.
Yeah? Okay, good. Really?
The whole, because there's different Gemara that said by Chaya, that's a top of Yeshua.
Yishmak. Okay, cool. He says, the Vilna Gaon says that Nosata B'Munah is talking about Torah. Obviously, Taisus argues with him. Okay. Huh?
The first question was that.
What?
It's the same question.
No, he's saying that it's a different part of Torah. Emunah is Zraim. This is that. Okay. Ayin Shom in the guide.
We don't know Zraim.
We don't learn Zraim. Yeah, we have to learn Zraim in Mishnayos. Tanya Reb Yosi Omer, Gadol Talmud shekadem l'chal. That's it. Now it makes a lot of sense because everybody's busy with Shas, Gemara, so they ask you first. No, what about Zraim? Okay. Tanya Reb Yosi Omer, Gadol Talmud shekadem l'chal. We said, and just like his din is before the mitzvahs, so the schar you get for Torah is also before Maisa. It's important, even though we mentioned many times. Chaim says that we say v'talmud Torah keneged kulam. That means every word. This is the Chaim. Every word of Torah is equal to 613 mitzvahs. So if a person could read, how much did he say in a minute? 200 words a minute? He made a cheshbon, a person could read 200 words a minute. So 200 times 613 is, 21,000. What is that? 2 times 600.
12,026.
12,026? Yeah, 2 times 600, you're right. Yeah. Where did you learn math? In Panovich. So you might be wrong. Somebody check him. You went to YU New. How much is it?
13 times 200 is 2,600. And then 600 times 200 is 12,000.
So he's right.
12,260.
Okay.
14,600.
14,600. Okay.
600.
Just take out your phone. What? 613 times 200 is how much? So I was closer than you. I went to Panovich also. 122,000. Okay. You said 12,000. You just have to add a zero. What's the difference? $12,000, $120,000. It's all the same. It's not the same. Each minute that you learn torah, you could be mekayim 122,000 mitzvahs. Okay. And then you add, no, seriously, and then you think, okay, and tefillin, and an esrig, lulav and esrig. But there's still chiyuvim that we have to do. But when a person says, no, this is more important, so you should just know what you're dealing with. 122,000 mitzvahs versus one mitzvah. Okay? So maybe the ma'isa. Fine, no, we're not holding there. Yischar and Torah is first before the mitzvah. Shelemah v'yitin artzis goyim v'amalu umim yiroshu ba'avur yishmur chukav v'seirosav yinsayru. The Torah yinsayru will be kept. Kol shein elei b'mikvah elei b'mishnah. So the Mishnah says, if you don't have these three things, Chumash, Mishnah, and Derech Eretz, or Reb Elchanan, pasal eidus. A guy like that is pasal eidus. So Rashi says the kivin shein min hayishuv a makbed al atzmoi v'enli bushes bottom has no busha, and he says that's the same shot we're going to have in a second. You walk around the street eating a falafel, you're similar to a dog, says Rashi. You don't care. You have no self. What's the word? Respect. No self-respect. And he boish l'zaz ba'atzmai v'li pasal. So then he doesn't have self-respect in other areas. And therefore, it makes sense that he's pasal eidos. There's a shayla. What about eating? This is a difference. Is there a difference between a guy taking a falafel with tchina dripping down his face, walking in the street, or a guy that's sitting at a restaurant, an outdoor restaurant, has a table, and he's eating a steak like this? Is that also oichel b'shuk? L'chayr not. It's a certain act of bizayin. It's accepted today to sit outside in an outdoor thing and eat, but not so much to eat falafel. Omer Avidi Baravin. Huh? What do you say? He's a ganav. Who's told you this, Pshat? Taisus? Shows to the past, the Gnai Yoiser. No, Taisus doesn't say that there. Oichel kan ma'at v'kan ma'at. I don't see that he's stealing. That's another pshat. That's not the real. That's not the known pshat. He says other pshatim. Okay, fine, but not stealing. Not because of stealing. I don't think it's stealing. Taste it. So in you could be mekayim this problem in the shuk, the real shuk in Machne Yehuda. Okay. Omer Avidi Bar Kasko. Omer Avidi Bar Oven. Hatzlocha ki yesh oimrim. That pasal eidos. If a person that eats in the marketplace is pasal eidos. Dorish bar kapara. Ragzon, a person who's always upset. May also be other ela ragzanusa. All he has is being upset. A guy that's always I once saw. I don't know if this is true. You can look it up. That people are very into their health. So they're uptight about their health. So they have a 17% more chance of getting a heart attack because they're so uptight. They're just uptight. And anytime you're uptight about anything, that's what happens. A good person, they give him from the fruit of his labor. A person who doesn't have these three things of mikra mishnah and derech eretz, you should be mudah from him. Stay away from him. Shelemah Moshav leitzim leYoshav Moshavai Moshav leitzim. Hadran alochi sheniknes, Hadran alochi sheniknes, Hadran alochi sheniknes. Volume 2. This, by the way, Rabbi Yosef just finished the longest parak in Shas. 40 daf. We learned many masechtas that are shorter than this one parak. Says the Heilige Mishnah. It's a very gishmaki parak. We're going to be talking about shlichos and shliach dvar veira, and all sorts of geschmack stuff. Ha'ish mekadesh boy ubeshluchai. And we're very familiar with all this. It's easy stuff. So a man could be mekadesh a woman. Kiddushin is stage 1 of marriage. It's giving a woman a ring, money to be mekadesh her. As we learned the first mission of the Masechta, there's 3 ways to mekadesh a woman. Mekadesh her with money through himself, or he could send a shliach. As you can see here, he did a new special a brisker. I have a brisker character now. And a woman could be miskadesh by herself. She receives the Kiddushin, or she could send an agent to receive the Kiddushin. Rabbi Sai, I want to remind you, this is an upgraded one. This might be Yoshi's very, very first animation back in the day. Today it's slightly upgraded. I didn't have the schus to see it yet. Here we are. Sound. I got bigger. That is the shliach. The guy not moving is the one being mekadesh, and the little guy. Do I need to show it again? Yes. No. This time without sound though. Here, so there's that's what it is. So the tall guy is the chassan. He's wearing the chassan tie. The little guy is the shliach. Oh, it doesn't show. I got a little bigger. Sends her the ring. All right, fine. Next. So we know there's 3 stages in a woman's life. There's a ketana from 0 to 12. There's a nara. If she has simanim, then it lasts up until 12 and a half. The most it can last is for 6 months. And once she turns 12 and a half, she becomes a big geras. But geras, she's out of her father's domain. Says the Mishnah, father could be Mekadesh's daughter when she's in the center stage, when she's 12 years old. Could he be Mekadesh her when she's 7 years old? Yes. So then why does the Mishnah say when she's an arrow? So we're going to have to see. It's a big chiddush. Something that we didn't really discuss. And basically what the Gemara is going to say, it's not the right thing to do. He could, halachically, technically, but you wait until she's at least 12. She nara. I don't want to forget, because I saw Taisus here and I forgot to... But Taisus says that this is how we do it by us in France, that we're Mekadesh our girls when they're 12 years old because they're in big... No, because I'm thinking to myself, we don't understand what's going on here. Kaddish, a little girl, it's against the law, the whole thing. And he says that who knows what we're going to have next year. If you're not Mekadesh your daughter now, right now, we're in such tsaras. He talks about the tsaras that they had in those days. They had to be Mekadesh the daughters early, very early. I was in a restaurant did I mention this? Just recently in Yerushalayim, and the waitress was very young, maybe between 16 and 17 years old, and she told me she's getting married. She comes from, I forgot where it was. My brother said, yeah, like some, I think she's Mexican, a Mexican Jew, and that's the minhag over there. They marry very, very young. So 16 is already older, but going back, you're talking about 1,000 years ago, in the time of Taisvis, whatever, 900. And that was the minhag. It was a thing. Ask the Gemara. Now pay attention to these words, because I want to show you something. Hashto b'shlucha mekadesh. If a person could use an agent to mekadesh his wife, boy miboya, certainly he could be mekadesh himself. So why does the Mishnah have to say, hoish mekadesh? All the Mishnah has to say, hoish shliach is mekadesh. And then you know that the person himself can be mekadesh. Yosef, mitzvah boy Yosef mishluchai. We're telling you the order. First, it should be hayish mekadesh. Do it yourself. If you can't do it yourself, then you use a shliach. But it's much better to do it yourself. Anything you can do yourself. If you could build a sukkah yourself, build it yourself. There's a big mitzvah in building yourself. yes, you could hire somebody for a few dollars, they'll do it for you, but it's not the same thing. It's not the same mitzvah. So now if you stick in a little bit of Chassidish Havara here, Hashtu b'shlichoi mikadesh boy mibuya, or mitzvah boy, I think you guys will understand. Here, Rabbi says, somebody just sent this to me. Who said, what's his name? Farkas, Pashkas, Moshe Pashkas. He's a very shkoyach for bringing him back this year. He's a gewaldige guy, and he sent me this. You might know this. Here we go. Some volume, Rabbi Isai. Here we go. The Kovet Matzah Shabbos.
Lass mir aufmischen, die Gemurre in Kiddushin. Die Gemurre in Kiddushin. Die Gemurre in Kiddushin. Lass mir aufmischen, die Gemurre in Kiddushin. Die Gemurre in Kiddushin. Daf Yomi Aleph Amud Aleph.
The Kovet Erev Yom Kippur. I'm just looking at David. What? Play yes all the time? But not every Yom Kippur. What's the guy's name again? The singer?
Hu ish mikadesh boi b'shlichoi. Hu ish miskadeshes boi b'shlicho. Hu ish mikadesh boi b'shlichoi. Hu ish miskadeshes boi b'shlicho. Hodi gemure a groise I boye. Hashte b'shlichoi mikadesh boi mi boye. Boi mi boye. Boi mi boye. En fet Reb Yosef mit a chidish gurazoi. Ay la 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 la. Mitzvah boy, oi sei mi b'shlichoi. Ay la 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 la. Mitzvah boy, oi sei mi b'shlichoi. Ay la.
All right. Ayin Shom. What? I joined his share? Ayin Shom. The whole daf will be like that. Okay. Mitzvah boy, oi sei mi b'shlichoi. Ki had Rav Safra. This is unbelievable, Rabbi Isai. The Rav Safra machrich reisha. You would singe the head of the goat or whatever it is to get rid of the hair, and then they would cook it. But he would do something on his own, even though his wife could do it or whoever was there could do it. He did it Lekovet Shabbos Kodesh. Rava molach shibuta. Let's see if I have the shibuta here. I'm supposed to have it. This is a shibuta. This is Yoshi did this a while ago. It's a goatfish. That's what the Gemara tells us. Shibut is a goatfish. So we did a little bit of the thing. Akoponim, Rava would salt the fish. Lekovet Shabbos Kodesh. All right. So we can take from this that Erev Shabbos, it's kedai to do something. Even if everything is done, get your hands dirty, do something, even though you're a gadol like Rava. I saw they ask why is it that you could be mevatel Torah for that? So some say since it's a chiyuv in yourself, then it's a chiyuv that's dependent on you. Shabbos is for you, so you have to do it. Another shayla they ask, isn't the Rav chashav adam gadol that finds a bike in the street? He's not chayiv in a Shabbos Aveda because it's below his dignity to do it. So why is this not below his dignity? And the answer is that what? In his house. Okay, well, people walk in, they see. Okay, I hear. So I think the Mogen Avraham, the Pri Megadim, I think says that walking with a bike in the street, everybody sees it's below. But over here, everybody sees that he's doing it Lekovet Shabbos. Why is Rava sweeping the floor or whatever? I think we once had sweeping the floor, but why is he cooking? Everybody chaps, he's doing it L'chavayt HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So, whereas a guy's walking with a bike, maybe he likes to ride a bike, maybe it's for his anikos, that's a bizarre. Okay, Zog the Gemara. No, this is a problem. To send out a shliach to be mekadesh your wife, that's an isser. Why? The Rav Yehuda Rav says, it's a isser to be mekadesh a woman until you see her. Why? Maybe if you marry her and you see that she has something wrong with her, something you don't like, then she'll be repulsive to you. Yankel Galinsky says, it doesn't say over here you're going to divorce her. It says you're not going to like her that much. It's unbelievable. The Torah is makbid on loving your fellow Jew, like yourself, including your own wife. And if you go down to Madrega in whatever that is, then you have there's an Isser. There's a Bacher. His name was Aaron Leb. He went on a shidduch date. So he told the Shatchanis, he said, I just have to warn you that I'm probably not going to look at this girl until I decide that I want to marry her. So I said, okay, fine. So after the shidduch was over, the girl calls up the Shatchanis and she says, I thought I'm very, very depressed. I wanted to marry this guy. He's like a great guy. I heard something, and he didn't even look at me. At the end of the date, he picked up his eyes and he looked at me. So she says, "Oh, Mazel Tov, Gewaldig. That means he's going to marry you." And he turned out to be Aaron Leich Steinman. Okay, that's what they say about him. Akoponim. There's a few interesting things here. How did Avram Avinu, who's Makbid and Kol HaTorah Kula, how did he marry Sarah without looking at her? It says in the pasuk he never saw her until he saw her reflection. So how did he marry her? No. This is the Marshal's Kash in Bava Basra. So one of the obvious answers is that Avram Avinu thought that he'll never look at her. So you didn't have a problem with Shem Tizgana. Shem Tizgana is if the first day you marry her and you see her, but he felt that's one of the answers. Okay.
Pictures of the president.
Yeah, okay. So you're saying that he did see her beforehand?
It's a new thing.
There was a Maisa in Masechta Shabbos that we had, a crazy story where a guy, he died not knowing that his wife was missing an arm. The Gemara was Meshabeach him that he had such sneers that he never noticed that his wife didn't have an arm. Okay, different madrigas, different things. Okay, Zok the Gemara. We have to say the story once in a while. This is one of the most famous stories, but just in case there's a guy new to the shir or lives under a rock, never heard the story, a famous story about this bacher who had a very hard time in Shidduchim. So he went to Reb Chaim Kanievsky and he said, what should I do? Every time I go on a date and these girls look at my face, they see it's all messed up and they don't. So Reb Chaim Kanievsky said, when you go on a date, the first thing, before you say Shalom Aleichem, tell her how it happened to you. So, you look at me like you never heard the story. You really never heard the story? You want to hear it again. Okay, great. Like, looking at me, so you go on a date, and before he has a chance, he says, tells the whole story that he was walking in the shuk, and he heard screaming. He ran, and he saw an Arab trying to stab a girl. And he jumped in there, and he got involved, and he got slashed in his face, and he saved this girl. So the girl said, that was me. You saved my life. And of course, they got married, and that's part of my 9-month later book, whatever. Okay. Zog the Gemara. We said this already. No. This, the Rav Yosef says, is on the second part of the mission. That what? That a woman could send out an agent to be if she do it with herself, if she could use a shliach, so certainly she could be mekadosh herself. So why do I have to say that she can be mekadosh herself? She has a mitzvah more mitzvah ba Yosef b'shlucha. That what? What's the mitzvah for her? What mitzvah does she have? A woman has a mitzvah to get married. So even if she doesn't, she at least part of the mitzvah. Okay. You see that the Miriam, they did the mitzvah themselves, even though they were able to get away without that. But she doesn't have an isur for herself. If we're going to view her, says Rashi, because what's going on here? Rashi doesn't like to say that maybe it's a situation where the guy saw her, like he peeked through a window, he saw her, but she didn't see him. Rashi just says, if we're going to look from her vantage point, she has no isser to marry him without seeing him, but he has an isser to marry her without seeing her. Isur lesbo kiddush lakish. Tav lemesav tandu lemesav armelu. A woman prefers to be two bodies. Tan is a guf, is a body. Two lemesav armelu, to sit by yourself your whole life. That's another thing, right? We're talking about Erev Sukkos. Chaim said sometimes people go and the last minute they just get any esrog they can get their hand on, and sometimes people have to get married even if it's not what they dreamt of and it doesn't fit all the check marks in the list and this and that. Sometimes you have to take the list and throw it out. I know a person very, very well who has, I think, a 80 or 90 questionnaire for shidduchim, and none of their kids are married. And they're all 26, 27, 20, and no, they will only, they have this list, and they don't know, Be'ez Hashem, they're all going to get married with the list, but they has to fill in all, so they have to take the list and throw it out. Oh, says the Gemara, what do you mean? We just said that a father has rishus, he basically controls his daughter who's a naira, so certainly he can control the ktana. Say Rav, another Rav Yudam Rav. We say Reb Elazar. Also, lodim shikashes bidik shiktana achetigdal. It's also okay. He could technically, halachically, but he made an isser that you're not allowed to marry off your daughter shiktana achetigdal v'toymer plain any rights. So let her make a decision. So let me ask you a question. Why does she have to make a decision? We just finished saying that Rosh Lakish says, Tav lemesav tandu, milemesav armelu. So let her marry her off, and then she's going to be happy with the shidduch. Why not?
When she grows up, she's going to say, she's going to regret.
Oh, very good. But what about other women? We just said that a woman is happy. She doesn't have to see who the chassan is. She'll marry. Oh. So the tzira for these two Bachar are very nice. He's saying that he said, "Lokash kufim aleh." Not when you force her. That's Tosfos Kasha and Tosfos answer. Tosfos says that when you're the woman herself, and she says, "I don't care. I'm already this old. I need to get married quickly. It's getting late." But you didn't see him. I don't care. She's allowed to marry whoever she wants. She's allowed to make that decision that she doesn't have to see the chassan, because at the end of the day she'll be happy. But to take a 12-year-old and force her to anybody that you decide without asking her, or I shouldn't say 12-year-old, an 11-and-a-half-year-old, without her shus, to be kaifas, as Tosfos says, that you don't say tavel meisiv, because maybe she'll be upset. She didn't make that decision. Yeah.
The end of the Gemara is Kulam Mizanos Tachas Valiant.
Right, I remember. Yes, I got it. He's right. I remember that line over there. I don't know exactly in the whole context, but yeah. I mean, even though there's that, yeah. Okay. I heard Grada. It's a nice. I think it's very poshut. When you hear it, you say, yeah, of course, yeah, poshut. But I heard once from Reb Yaakov's son, not the one from here, his uncle, said that somebody asked him, I want to convince this girl to marry this guy. She's not doing the right thing. She wants to drop this guy. So he said, listen, every marriage, I think it's a very nice insight. Every marriage, people struggle in their marriage. They have fights, they have this, they have that. If you convinced her to get married, you kind of forced her, then the person will give up and say, listen, I didn't want this marriage to begin with, so I'm out of here. I want to get divorced. I'm out of here. But if you make the decision yourself, you decide to marry, then you have a problem. You try to work it out. So don't go ahead and try to force people to get married, he said. I thought it was a very interesting thing. It doesn't say that. But that's basically what Tosfos is saying. Yeah, that's basically it doesn't really say that, but that's how you're okay. Here. Shlichus minala. Now we're going into the shlichus. How do you know that Mario could Mario? How do you say it? Mario, whatever. Mario. Shlichus minala. The sign is shilach. Melamed shu oisa shliach. says v'shilach, and we're going to see the pasuk in a second. V'shilcha, melamed sheyos shliach. Here, where's the pasuk? Very famous pasuk. Here we go. V'shilach v'shilcha. In the word v'shilcha with the hey, you have v'shilach. He could send the shliach. V'shilcha, she could also. V'shilach v'shilcha. But there's also in pasuk Gimel it says, because of the same agrees, v'shilcha mebeison. It says shilcha second time. If I send an agent to do something, that agent has the right, and we had the whole sugya last Masechta. You could also go ahead and make a shliach. Ashkechon begerushim, bekidushim, and all these psukim obviously are by gerushim. Because of the sefer krisos, how do I know that this applies by kiddushin as well? V'chitem the av begerushin, and if you say, oh, we always learn kiddushin begerushin, mal gerushin shekein yeshna bal karcha. You don't need the woman's consent to give her a get. And Memela, since it's so weak, I could also send an agent. But by Kiddushin, where you need her consent, so maybe you need something stronger, you need the husband himself. Or Makrava Yatzava Haisa, Makish, Havayali Yitzia, the famous Vyatzava Haisa. It's in the same pasuk, so that's called the Hekesh, and you can't break this. It's an unbreakable limud. Makish Havayali Yitzia, Mayitzim Mashri Shliach, Havayim Nami Mashri Shliach. Since by Gerushin we already established you can send the shliach, so too by Kiddushin. Now we're just going to go to 2-3 things. Truma. When a person has produce, he has to give truma. How much? 1 grain midaraisa. If you're very large, or you're a Beinoni, you give 2%. If you're extra generous, you give 2.5%. If you're stingy, you give 1.5%. So you tell your shliach, go take truma. Go separate, so I need to eat. You tell your shliach, go separate some apples from the pile. How much should he take? And what is he allowed to take? You know what he typically does, so that's what you should do. This is the first time he's working there, he doesn't know what the balabais wants, that's balabais. He should just do the average, which is 2%. Daf Aleph, Amud Beis, we just did 40 daf in Kiddushin. Oh, hold on a second before responses. Pichas Asar. Now, simple pshat. Pichas Asar. What does Pichas Asar mean? L'chayra, you and I reading this, we wouldn't know what Rashi says because Rashi says the opposite. Pichas Asar means that he took less truma than he was supposed to. Pichas Asar. No, says Rashi. No. Pichas Asar means he took more truma. He took from the balabayis. He took from his good stash. He gave it to the kohen. Pichas Asar. Taisus argued. Oh, yes, Vasara. Truma say truma. The shliach has the right to decide on his own since he didn't know what the guy wants. So he gave a little bit more than the guy wanted. Min Elan. How do you know? Maybe if you learn from what we just established in Gerushin, Gerushin is a chal, it's a simple thing. We're talking about truma. Truma, you have to be a kohen. There's a certain kedusha to it. Yisrael who eats it is Chaim Misa. We just turned to Mem Aleph Amud Beis, sponsored for all those in need of Refuah Shlema, and by Kinnovations, in honor of my uncle Reb Elchanan Pressman and his zchut, for you're filled with mazel, brach, Hatzlocha, parnasa, berevach, for all of the MDY family. Boys, don't forget, if you cheat and you don't watch the emails, so you should know that there's something called MDY Monthly, and many people donated, even tonight, I think it was like $2,500 just tonight. And if you do the math, I can't do the math because I went to Panovich. You do the math, 12 months times 2,500 is more than $25,000. Close to $30,000 probably. It's a lot of money. It's Dave Sharfman's $36 and this guy's this, and then it adds up. Huh? Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was only $1,200. I don't know. What? Yeah, maybe Menachem Ateh. Because if I did 1,200, it could be 122,000 came in tonight. Wow, it's a lot. All right. MDYmonthly.com. And don't think about it that you want to do it now, because if you do, you might be stuck. Yeah. Says the Gemara. So how do we know that this, you could send a guy to take your truma and the shlichos, and if you can't learn it from a get. Why? Because a get is different. It's chayil. It's mundane. It doesn't have kedusha. Or makro atem. Gam atem, it says in the pasuk. Here's the pasuk. Kain Terim was talking to the Levim. You also, not only the Yisrael has to take truma, Kain Terim Gam atem, you also. Trumas Hashem, Trumas Hashem, La'aron HaKoyen. You Levim should give to the Kohanim. The word gam is extra. The rabbis is a shliach. Not only atem, but gam atem, also the shliach. Says the Gemara, v'nichtav rachmana b'truma. Okay, so take the idea of shlichus by truma, which is kodesh. You just said it's kodesh, and you can learn for the rest of the Torah for Kiddushin and Gitin. Says Gemara, mishum de'ikele mifrach sheken yesh lemachshava. Oh. When it comes to truma, you could just in your mind decide, I want to give truma from the left side, and it works. Here's the pasuk. V'nechshav lochem trumasim. B'machshava, I could give truma. V'adis na'an chabura shove pischa. Beautiful. We had a whole beautiful sugis and psachim. Here, you saw it in Shas. Korban Pesach needs to be the menuyav. You have to be registered. You have to decide before what group do I belong. You can't just walk over to some guy in Harabais and grab some of his Korban Pesach and eat. You have to be part of the group. You have to register. You say, I am part of this group. If you're part of this group, you're not part of that group. If you're part of this korban, you're not part of that korban. Says the Gemara, their goat ran away. Now, here's a Korban Pesach, Rabbi Yosef. And you take this, and you do this to it. You put a skewer right through its whole body, and you roast it. And you told somebody else, you know what? We have to start over. Go get another korban and do the shechita for us. In other words, shlichos, you're my shliach for the korban. He found the original goat. Oh, here's my missing goat. And without them knowing, he went and he shechted it for them. And they took their own goat and did their own shechita. If he was first, the Vilna Gaon Aleph over here takes the word v'shaysim imay. He says it's not even in the psachim. The drinking has nothing to do with the sugya. He eats, and they eat from this Korban Pesach. Minalan, how do you know that it could be shliach? And if you say we should learn from a get and also truma, we're talking about kachim. Now we're stepping it up. Truma is also mundane compared to korban. Says Gemara, Nafkalim the Refuah ben Karcha, Adam Refuah ben Karcha, Menayin Sheshluch Shel Adam, Kemaisai. What time did we start again?
10 o'clock.
So we only have like 6 minutes. Okay, can't go too far. Adam Refuah ben Karcha, Menayin Sheshluch Shel Adam, Kemaisai, Shelemah v'shachatu oisai, Kol Ka'al Adas Yisrael ben Harabayim. One oisai, one korban, the entire nation. Okay, let's even say there's only 600,000 Yidden. There's much more. Yeah. So what? They're all holding on to one long knife. Impossible. There's only one shaykhid for everybody. You see that one person could do the shechita and have everybody in mind. Says the Gemara, okay. So say the most severe one, the one that has the most kedusha by a Korban Pesach, that there's a shliach, and then we'll learn a get from it, we'll learn truma from it. If you look at kachim, everything in kachim, from the Kabbalah, Halacha, Zrika, Melika, everything is a Kayin doing it for the Yisrael. So okay, it makes a lot of sense that one person does the shechita for everybody when it comes to the Korban Pesach. But when it comes to get, maybe you should do it yourself. Says the Gemara, we just established you can't learn from one individual. You want to learn get from Truma? No, it has Kiddushin. You want to learn Truma, let's say from Kachim, you can't. Kachim is everything has its own. But we can do one of these things here. Let's learn kachim from two of them together, and your excuses, not your excuses, your answers don't work over here. But there is a different answer. There is one answer. Hey Taisi, learn kachim. Don't say the idea of shlichus by kachim. And we're going to learn from a get and truma. But the answer is no. You can't learn kachim from them. Kachim is very different. Those two, even truma is considered chal when you compare it to korban. So what? Now let's do gerushin. Let's learn the idea of gerushin from kachim and truma. That what? That the shlichos. So why does the Torah have to say it 3 times? Kachim and truma. Truma we said already. But even kachim, I can say in my mind, that animal over there, that's a great animal. I'm going to bring it tomorrow as a korban oila. And it becomes an oila. So this is what the Gemara stays at the end, that I don't need Truma. The Torah doesn't have to tell us. Why? Because I can learn from Kachim and Gerushin. So let's see Rashi inside, because it's too long for me to explain. Says Rashi like this. Very simple. You learn from Korban Pesach that you could do shliach. Truma shichal lekulture, and certainly Truma. So if you go back here, we should learn Truma from Kachim. Malek Kachim, she can't write my same like they shliach. You say no, you can't learn Truma from Kachim because we already said that Kachim, which is a carbon, everything is done through the Kayin. Kayin does Kabbalah, Ilachas, Rika, Malika, the whole thing. So Gershi Yechichu, wait a minute. A get is not done through the Kohanim. You can do it through a shliach. You can do it by yourself. But a get, you can't learn Truma from a get. Why? Because it's mundane compared to Truma. Kachim Yechichu. Kachim is not mundane. It's more kodesh than Truma. The Chazar Din, so it goes around the circle. So bottom line is that what's the common denominator? The bottom line is that those two, Kachim and Gershim, you could do it through a shliach. Avani Truma. And bottom line is, let me bring Truma from those two. End the story. So if you can learn Truma from Kachim and Gershim, so why in the world does the Torah tell me the halacha of shlichus by Truma? You're right. You could learn Truma from those two. So what about the pasuk that we showed before? Gam. The word gam is extra. Lomali. A tremendous chiddush that you cannot use a non-Jew for shlichus. He has to be somebody that has a bris, that has a part of, I don't mean bnei bris like that, but a bris, that he has a bris milah, he's part of Klal Yisrael. That's a shliach. Says Gemara, for that I need a pasuk from the Refuah Shlema. I can use it from logic. Eved, who already has a bris, he's had a tefillah, he has mitzvahs like a woman, he cannot be a shliach because he's not in the parsha of a get and kiddushin. He's still Eved. So too, a guy, he's not in the parsha of a get. He's not in the parsha of Truma. He's not in the parsha. So how could he be a shliach? Eved is different. He's really not in the parsha. A guy could bring his own Truma. And if he could bring his own Truma, so he is in the parsha. And therefore, maybe he should be able to be a shliach for the Yisrael. It's not. A guy or a kusi who bring Truma, it's a good Truma. Why? So Rashi says, because it's a combination of two things. First of all, he holds ein kinyan. There's no kinyan for a guy in Eretz Yisrael. A guy can't own land there. So if he owns a piece of land and he has fruit and vegetables on it, so those fruit and vegetables are Chaya b'Truma. Now he doesn't have to bring the Truma because he's a guy, he's part of the mitzvahs. But you as a Jew buying from him, there's no ptur. It didn't come from a non-Jewish field. It came from a Jewish-owned field, so to speak. He also holds, as Rashi, that the miruach of a guy, when a guy smooths out the pile, that doesn't cause a heter. Usually when you miruach, you're chayev, not the guy. Says Gemara Reb Shimon the Potar. So did I say Potar? No. When a guy smooths it out, he is chayiv. And Memela, since he is chayiv in Truma, and the land is owned by, he doesn't have the kinyan in the land, so Memela you're chayiv. But Reb Shimon holds that smoothing it out is not mechayiv a guy. So Reb Shimon the Potar, this is not Truma. So midamas. If you take Truma from a non-Jew and you put it into a pile of chulin, the whole pile becomes aser, unless you have 101 times more chulin than Truma. Here's the pasuk. The art scroll sent me on a wild goose chase because I looked it up. It says Perek Chav Beis pasuk Daled. So I couldn't find it, so I went to the Hebrew art scroll. It says pasuk Chav Beis pasuk Daled. Then I found the pasuk Yud Daled. Okay, fine. So if you have an art scroll and you want to find this thing, look over there. It says V'ish ki yochal kodesh b'shgo v'Yosef chamishasoi olav So it says in the pasuk chamishis. You have to a fifth, huh? Chamishis. If you steal or take by mistake truma, you have to add a fifth and pay 25% to the Chaim. Reb Shimon poiter. So you see, Reb Shimon argues on this whole idea. So then again, what are we doing with gamatem to tell us that he has to be a ben bris? He can't be a non-Jew. But a non-Jew is not even in the parasha, so we said a guy is in the parasha. But according to Reb Shimon, he's not in the parasha. Atem gamatem elamali. It's real. If you have a sharecropper, that's how it used to work. Somebody works a field, brings the produce, and he shares with you. He takes 50%, you take 50%, whatever it is. So he cannot do truma for you. He decides on his own, I'm going to do the guy a favor. No, he can't. And a partner cannot take truma. Apitropos for a Yosem cannot take truma unless the Yosem needs to eat. And maybe the pshat is you can't just take truma from somebody else, or that's the pshat in all these three things. Nami. I would also think that this includes that a shliach cannot take truma. Any shliach, a Jewish shliach. That's why the Torah has to say no. Even in truma, a shliach is a shliach. Rabbi Isai, have a wonderful evening. Agud Voch. We'll see tomorrow, Beis Hashem, bright and early at 7:15. 6:20 Shachris. Matzah Yom Kippur, Rabbi Isai, Matzah Yom Kippur at 10 o'clock. Just give me 15 minutes extra to eat.